Americans of Reddit, what are your thoughts on Roe v. Wade being overturned by SCOTUS as per draft reports? That's right, responded Buttigieg, representing 1% of cases. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a woman in that situation. If it's that late in your pregnancy, then almost by definition, you've been expecting to carry it to term. We're talking about women who have perhaps chosen a name. Women who have purchased a crib, families that then get the most devastating medical news of their lifetime, something about the health or the life of the mother or viability of the pregnancy that forces them to make an impossible, unthinkable choice. And the bottom line is, as horrible as that choice is, that woman, that family may seek spiritual guidance, they may seek medical guidance, but that decision is not going to be made any better, medically or morally, because the government is dictating how that decision should be made. My wife miscarried, a spontaneous abortion, at 12 weeks, after several ultrasounds. This was an emotionally horrific event that has left us both scarred. 7 years later, we still question ourselves, was there something we could have done differently? The thought of people experiencing that tragic loss and self-doubt having to be further subjected to a government inquiry and accusation of maliciously trying to terminate the pregnancy. Fuck absolutely everything about that. As it was, we'd been struggling with fertility for nearly 2 years at that point and we nearly lost hope. We are lifelong Christians and were devastated at the thought of the death of the unborn child. With the help and excellent medical staff, we were able to welcome 2 incredible little boys into the world about 5 years ago after a very difficult pregnancy, and a delivery that nearly cost my wife her life. I absolutely support all women who are struggling with the challenges of pregnancy, and fully support any that make the emotionally fraught decision to terminate a pregnancy. I call on all Christians that claim to support the sanctity of life to vigorously support the expansion of age-appropriate sex ed in all schools, and the free availability of all birth control methods. Those are the best solutions to reduce the number of abortions, and miles ahead of criminalization, in any case. You think our social services are overwhelmed now? Get out your wallets because there is about to be a generation of babies born where moms won't have the means to feed, clothe, and care for them. My sister's hospital bill after having a kid with no insurance was $90K. Women will now be forced into medical debt for kids they don't want, possibly from sex they never wanted to have. We are heading down a very bad and long road. The next few years will be really bad. Debt goes up. More kids in the system. More back alley abortions. Rich women will take a weekend trip to London and come back not pregnant anymore. Poor people are probably going to have to order Canadian pills to terminate their own pregnancies, and if they get caught it'll be like the early weed laws where judges were handing out life sentences for having a joint. Asterisk as rich people have the means to cross state lines and get abortions, this will predominantly affect poor and lower middle class. Asterisk some desperate women will risk illegal abortions. Many will die. Asterisk poor and lower middle class women are the least likely to be able to afford daycare, housing, medical care, and hell, even everyday bills. And college? Ha 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 no. Asterisk within rise of youth born into a future with bleak prospects, drug use and crime trends will get a bump in 15 years. Asterisk this will embolden right-wing authoritarians to push for harsher tough-on-crime policies and further lessen the penalties for self-appointed freedom-loving patriots to murder people they don't like on the street. Mind you, all of these things are already happening today, we're just going to be seeing a whole lot more of it. So not that we'll fucking learn a lesson or anything, but I'm just going to say it again, presidencies last the length of a television series, Supreme Court seats are lifetime appointments. Scared? I work with survivors of sexual violence. I am a survivor myself. I, and many other folks, have had our bodily autonomy stolen from us before. To see it on a federal level is horrifying. This will backfire terribly and not solve a fucking thing. Mexico recently decriminalized abortion. Coincidence? I think not. Child support payments better start at conception then. The foster care system is proof the government doesn't care about unwanted children yet want to force more to be born. It's all politics though, guarantee if any of them ever got in a sticky situation, illegal or not, an abortion will be had available. People will still find ways to get abortions. My wife had a miscarriage last year. Because we were well past the point of most miscarriages, not quite to the stillbirth cutoff, but not far away, we were told the odds of my wife passing the fetus on her own were slim and that surgery was the safest option. We were required by law to acknowledge in writing that the procedure would terminate the dead fetus and that it came at risk of infertility and death. Our doctor was required to tell us the developmental age of the dead fetus and which developmental milestones occur around that time, as well as offer us an ultrasound to see the dead fetus. We cried the entire time. We desperately wanted this child. Our doctor cried, apologizing every step of the way that we had to go through this insensitive bullshit on top of losing the pregnancy. This fetus was dead in every sense of the word, but because the procedure in question is also used for abortions, we had to jump through these goddamn hoops to avoid putting my wife's health at risk. And it's not like my state doesn't offer alternatives for non-viable fetuses, conception due to rape or incest, or instances where health is at serious risk. This was the alternative. If we were actually getting an elective abortion, it would have been significantly more time-consuming and soul-crushing. You literally have to take an online course. Abortion access in this country is already a joke. All this is going to do is get people killed. As a woman in a state where it will likely become illegal, I am reconsidering my decision to have kids in the future. I don't know that I am comfortable with the idea of getting pregnant if difficult but necessary medical decisions wouldn't be between me and my doctor. Child abuse will skyrocket. We'll have exponentially more unwanted kids, and even less resources for them than are available now. Which is none. A lot of women will be forced to raise babies that look like they're rapists. And the abortions some women are able to get will be harmful or deadly. What a bunch of motherfucking scumbags. Weird that this got leaked. CNN keeps repeating over and over how a leak anywhere near this level has never happened in SCOTUS history. Someone wanted this leak to stir things up before the midterms. What is moral but illegal? As an American doctor who takes Medicare, I am not allowed to waive fees for procedures or charge a patient less than what our officially set rates are, even if they don't have insurance. I'm also not allowed to ask a doctor from a different practice what a certain insurance company pays them for a service, as this has been deemed antitrust. Removed. Grabbing thrown out clothes from clothing stores / furniture / appliances, brand new stuff that just didn't sell or was out of season. Truly wasteful and probably a terrible. My mom used to drive behind strip malls with me as a kid and we'd find all sorts of good stuff. Pier 1 Imports used to have some good stuff, so did Burlington Coat Factory. Sleeping in your car when you're too drunk to drive. Paying for other people's parking meters. Cafeteria workers at schools feeding children that don't have money. Edit. Oh geez, I totally realized by the comments this is not in fact illegal, in America. It could still get you fired depending on school policy and still a fucked up moral situation to have to be in. Grabbing thrown out food from a groceries shop's dumpster. In Japan? Recycling someone's garbage without permission. Touching their garbage at all. You could use a discarded couch and save it from the garbage dump, but be arrested for it. Pirating abandonware. In many countries, speaking out against the malicious and corrupt actions of the government would certainly fall under the category of moral but illegal. In Germany, putting your empty beer bottle next to the trash can in cities instead of into the trash can. It's in principle littering, but it makes it so bottle collectors don't have to crawl through the trash. There is a deposit on the bottles. Whistleblowing. Supposedly legal, but you know the drill. Pirating content that has been abandoned and can't even be purchased anymore. E.g. an out-of-print book, or a game that isn't sold anymore. Defending against a bully in school, apparently. Donating unused insulin to those in need. You get $100 if you can name something that no one has a fetish for. What is your answer? Unskippable ads. I would say a lagging phone fetish. Like, ooh, this app froze again, I am so turned on. A pack of cigarettes that's also a calculator. This seems like a bait question from a Rule 34 artist. Popcorn ceilings, and if that's your fetish, I'm sorry but we're gonna have to burn you with fire. The official building code of the city of Detroit. Adopted March 17, 1936. Effective April 17, 1936. I have a copy of it right here. That little spring that's inside of pens. Escort missions. The number 58391058104438227511115. Ants wearing high heels walking through watered down Mayo. Redditors. Telecommunications. Me. Sex. A fetish requires the gratification to be abnormal. Edit. Thanks for all the rewards. Edit 2. A lot of people are claiming that if we restrict our sample to Redditors, virgins, ace people, highly religious people, then sex or pleasure from sex may be abnormal. I'd like to say, arbitrarily changing your sample just to reach a certain conclusion is unscientific and wrong. Having your feet bludgeoned by a bag of Peruvian coins while an Australian little person in a giraffe onesie tickles your asshole with a feather from an albino canary.